Hi guys, welcome back to lesson 2, the knowing doing gap. Sorry about my power surge earlier on. I'm not really sure what happened. Um, but if you would like to meet with me and schedule a one-on-one, I can do laser coaching and just train you through this lesson in person, or if 2 or 3 of you want to meet, I can do that too. Okay, so here's a quote again from Morpheus. There's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. So what you learn in lesson 2. If you want to make permanent changes in your life, this lesson will help you do it. There are 3 things you will learn from lesson 2. How to turn a negative behavior into a positive behavior, a repeatable process to change any habit, and a strategy to convert negative habits into positive results. So we already talked about lesson 1 worksheet. If any of you are having problems with lesson 1 and you're still struggling with writing out your goal, please let me know and I can sit down with you around your schedule and we can talk through it together. Okay, so the knowing doing gap. There's a big difference between what you know and what you do. So to get results, you have to know 2 things: where you are and where you want to be. Now, there's a huge difference between what most people know and what they do. At times, we do things we don't want to do and we get results we don't want, but we do it anyway. Why? Because it's controlled by our paradigm in our subconscious mind. That paradigm controls our behaviors and our actions. Now, for a person to experience permanent change in their personal or even in their professional life, there must be a change in the primary cause of their results. So a common error is people trying to change the results by changing the behavior. And when this happens, the change is temporary. Now, although behavior causes results, it is a secondary cause. The primary cause is the paradigm. Now, when we get deeper into this and you start to understand paradigms, you'll also start to understand the power of habit. Now, I know there's a lot of this will resonate with you because you will see a lot of people that are trying to get fit and lose weight, but they are working on their behaviors. They're working on it from the outside, and that will only ever cause temporary change. Okay, in order to cause permanent change, you need to work on the primary cause, which is the paradigm, which is how we're programmed, which is our habits. And until you do that, you will never have permanent change. And you'll see a lot of people trying to lose weight and it will come back again. They'll lose it for a while because they're changing their behaviors, but because they're not changing their paradigms, the primary cause, that they're never going to lose weight permanently. That weight will always find its way back to you. So the key points: there is an enormous difference between what most people know and what they do. The conscious mind is connected to the world around us through our senses. We can hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. The subconscious mind is the part of the mind that expresses whatever is impressed upon it. For the purpose of this lesson, you could say the subconscious mind is in control of the doing. A habit is an idea that's fixed in a person's subconscious mind. It causes them to do something without any conscious thought. A paradigm is a multitude of habits that causes our habitual behavior. At times we do things we do not want to do, get results we do not want, but we do it anyway. This is because of the paradigm in the subconscious mind that controls our actions or behaviors. Now, I've been here so many times. I think Bob mentions this before, right? On Weight Watchers. I'm counting points. I go to a party, I go somewhere, and there's cake. And what do? I'm on a diet, I'm counting points, but I have a slice of cake. I don't even want the cake, and I certainly don't want the results from eating the cake, but I do it anyway. Why? Because it's how I'm programmed. Because I didn't go within to my paradigm and my subconscious mind and change the paradigm. Instead, I'm just changing the behavior on the outside by, doing Weight Watchers, counting points. Did it work? No. I ended up putting all the weight back on. Anyway, a common error is trying to change results by changing behavior. When this happens, the change is generally temporary. Okay, so the worksheets are meant as an activity that challenges you to immediately apply the lesson learned. The worksheets are an essential part of Thinking into Results program. Please do them. Each time you watch the lesson, you should also complete the lesson worksheets. Be sure you are writing out your answers every single time. So this week's worksheet is going to ask you to describe a situation in your life that you're not getting the results you want. So something you're not happy with. So you're going to write it out, the situation that you're not happy with, exactly as it is right now. Okay? And then you're going to write it out again. But this time you're going to write it as you actually want it to be. You're going to write it how you want it. If the situation was perfect and exactly how you want it to be, you're going to write it out that way. And then after that, you're going to write out your non-productive actions. So the things you do that are non-productive. And then under that, you're going to change it to productive actions. What you could do to turn it into a productive action. Now, this lesson, this worksheet, is where I had a major breakthrough, where I actually discovered one of my big paradigms, something I did that I wasn't even aware of I was doing. Because this is what happens, right? Those paradigms are so deeply ingrained in our subconscious mind that after a while, our body starts to perform these actions better than our mind does. It's like when you go to the bank and you go to the ATM and you try and take out money and you forget your PIN. So what do? You relax, and if you just relax and stop thinking about what your forgotten PIN is, it's almost like your fingers take over and they type in the PIN without even having to think about it, right? It's like muscle memory. Our body has become, almost better at doing it than our mind, because those habits are so deeply ingrained that now our body has taken over. So there are some things that we do and we don't even notice because they're so deeply ingrained. So this lesson, this worksheet is actually key to really sitting down and looking at, something you're not happy with, and then thinking about, what are the things I do that are non-productive? What are the things I do that are actually stopping me from moving forward? The things that I do that I shouldn't be doing because I know I don't want the results. So, so this is another thing. Writing and repetition are key when doing this work. And there's a reason. When you want to reprogram your subconscious mind, and especially those paradigms, the only way paradigms can be replaced, they can't be deleted, they can't be removed in any way, they have to be replaced. Paradigms got ingrained in our subconscious mind through repetition, and that's how you're going to replace them, through repetition. Now, writing is really important. Writing out your affirmations, writing out your goals, writing out your non-productive and productive activities. Writing is key because writing creates it creates images in our mind. It pops up on the screen of our conscious mind when we write. Now, those images stir emotions. We get emotionally involved with those images, and those emotions cause action. Those actions set up a reaction from the universe, and that is how we create new results. So a strategy to change your habits: read your new description every day and imagine yourself with that new behavior. Repeat it every day for 30 days. Read the persistence chapter from Think and Grow Rich for every day for 30 days. Again, there's a reason why Bob and I will ask you to do something over and over. Repetition is key when it comes to replacing those paradigms and replacing paradigms in your subconscious mind. So reason number 2, the knowing doing gap. So there's a big difference between what people know and what they do. Why is that? So to get results, you have to know 2 things. You have to know where you are and where you want to be. So that looks really simple, right? You know where you are and you know where you want to go. So what's stopping us? What creates failure for some people? What keeps us stuck? Paradigms. So for a person to experience permanent change in their personal and professional life, there must be a change in the primary cause of their results, which resides in our subconscious mind, paradigms. Paradigms are what keeps us stuck. where we are and prevents us from moving forward into success. What is a paradigm? A paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior, and almost all of our behavior is habitual. So, for example, if you want to release weight, we never say lose it because you will always find that lost weight if you don't change your self-image. But if you want to release weight, for instance, you're not just trying to change your diet or exercise habits, okay? Because they are actions or behaviors on the outside of your subconscious mind, and you won't get permanent results. You'll find that weight that you released or you lost, okay? You're trying to change a paradigm, which are the ideas, beliefs, and habits that are deeply ingrained and locked in your subconscious mind. Now, you can't change a paradigm by self-will alone. We were taught that there are two ways to change a paradigm, okay? One of them is a huge emotional impact. 9/11 is a great example of that. Or by constant spaced repetition. Repetition is key. Because if you think of it this way, how did that paradigm get into your subconscious mind in the first place? Repetition. How did we learn our names when we were children? Repetition. Maria, what's that? Maria, look at the doggy. Maria, what does a cow say? You know, that you're hearing your name over and over again. It's ingrained in our subconscious mind. So if paradigms are implanted in our subconscious mind through repetition, that's how we're going to replace them with good, positive paradigms, is through repetition. So a habit is a redundant set of automatic, unconscious thoughts, behaviors, and emotions that are acquired through repetition. So the knowing doing gap. A person can never do better than they do. Why? Because if it's how we are programmed. We know better, but that doesn't matter. We still don't do what we should do, right? Because it's our paradigms that are holding us back. What you do most of the time is motivated primarily by your paradigm. The paradigm controls our behavior, but not our intellect. That's why you know what you should do, but we don't do it. So when you watch a person's behavior over a period of time, even your own behavior, it's actually amazing when you become really self-aware and observant of what you're doing. You'll notice that there are repeated patterns. You'll see people, they never change because their pattern is controlled by that paradigm. Now, to understand your mind and to learn how to shift your habits and create the life you desire, you need to understand how the mind functions, okay? And in order to do that, you need to have a visual. You need to have an image of the mind. Now, if I ask you right now, think of your mind, what are you going to think of? Okay, hold on to that thought. So, because as humans, we think in pictures. And to change your mind, like I said, you've got to be able to visualize it. So what was that image when I asked you to think of your mind? What did you think of? Because this is not the mind. Mind is an activity. This is the brain. The brain is a physical thing. The mind is not. The mind is activity. But I do have a visual that I want to share with you. Now, you might be amused, but don't laugh at the simplicity of this, because lots of therapists have been very thankful of this, we call it the stick figure or the magic genie. And this little figure here was invented by a chiropractor called Dr. Thurman Fleet. And I think it was back in 1934 he came up with this. So for the sake of this presentation, the top circle is going to be the mind and the bottom is going to be the body. Now the mind, we are going to divide that into two parts, okay? The conscious and the subconscious mind. We're going to say the conscious is on the top and the subconscious is on the bottom. Now, our paradigms are deeply rooted in that bottom part of our mind, which is the subconscious mind. And that's where we need to replace the paradigm with positive paradigms. Now, we perceive the world around us through our senses of sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. But we also have 6 intellectual faculties: perception, will, imagination, memory, intuition, and reasoning. So again, they are our 6 intellectual faculties. Now, this is really fascinating and really important, The conscious mind has the power to accept or reject any thought, right? Our conscious thinking mind has the power to accept or reject any thought. But like I said before, the subconscious mind cannot reject any thought impressed upon it from the conscious mind. It doesn't know the difference between real or imagined. It has to accept it. So it can accept any thought pressed down upon it from the conscious mind, both positive and negative. So the subconscious mind is also that part of the mind that controls our body and our behaviors. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how we build those new habits to create those new results. So our conscious mind, like I said, is our thinking mind, and our subconscious mind is our emotional mind. Now, if we know the subconscious mind it has to accept whatever is pressed upon it from the conscious mind. So if we're going to press down thoughts into our subconscious mind, what kind of thoughts should they be? They should be thoughts of things that we really want, okay? Things that we do want, positive things, good things. How do we do that? How do we impress those thoughts into our subconscious mind of things that we want permanently? Through visualization and repetition. Visualization, because we think in pictures. Repetition, repetition, repetition. When we do that, what happens? Bearing in mind the subconscious mind controls our bodies, what happens as we get emotionally involved with those thoughts that we do want through visualization and repetition? What happens to our body? We get emotionally involved, and then it changes the vibratory state of our body. We are all energy. We're all made from energy. We vibrate. We have a frequency. When you get emotionally involved with those thoughts you're impressing on your subconscious mind through visualization and repetition, you change your vibratory state. What does that do? It changes your behaviors and your actions, right? Because we did it from the inside out. We did it through the subconscious mind. Changing our behavior and action causes action, which in turn causes a reaction from the universe, changing your results and your reality. Okay. And here's Muhammad Ali. He's going to back me up on this. It's a repetition of affirmations that leads to belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. A deep conviction. You're getting emotionally involved. Belief, repetition, emotionally involved. Things start to happen. And you just learn the science of how and why.